All right. I'm live. I'm live with my cards in my basement, and my dog, my faithful companion, is laying on his side, one eye on me, one eye on his dreams and his future and his hopes. And we're going to talk a little bit about cards here. These are random cards that I sometimes forget where I put them. They don't fit into binders or boxes, 5 row, 4 row, 3 row, 2 row, 2 row, or 800 count boxes. They're oversized and probably underloved because I don't get to look at them as often as I should. So in a minute here, I'll start poking through some cards. Maybe I'll go get another box as well, just to see what we got going on. Yeah, give me a second. I'm going to go walk over to the other side. I'll be right back. Somebody's watching. I'll be right back. All right. Hey Rob, what's up, man? How you doing? Hope you're doing all right. Hope you're doing all right, my friend, out there in Colorado. Hopefully it's snowing and you're skiing and all that fun stuff. Hey Brent, how are you? I was babbling before when I was by myself here. Going to look at some random stuff that I don't normally look at, and it's hard to display because they don't fit into the normal collection parameters. Where is he? He's over there. That's Jet. He's looking at top loaders and stuff like that. Anyway, I'm gonna look at some stuff here that I have. It's probably oversized or odd sized, and it's not binderable or boxable. Hey Vic, what's up, man? I was just I just flew home yesterday from Chicago, Vic, and thankfully I'm happy to be home. So I had a good time in Chicago, but here I am back home. Let's look at some cards. And these aren't your normal cards. Let me see if I can bring this thing up here. And let's add that. Look at that. Give me a second. Let me deal with that. Okay, get rid of the audio. So, random cards, some oddball stuff, and this is a 1960 J Publishing. That's a Cepeda, Orlando Cepeda, blank backs. So, story behind this is one of my most recent pickups, right? So I had about 150,000 cards listed on Facebook Marketplace, mostly junk wax stuff, mostly crap, pure, straight up crap. And what I did, got some offers, all that stuff, and there was a very persistent call from the north of Pennsylvania, Scranton, PA. A gentleman was opening up a card shop, so I took my cards up there after dilly-dallying for a couple weeks on Facebook Marketplace. Traded 150,000 cards for a store credit, and a nice store credit at this card shop. And one of the things I got was a complete 1960 J Publishing set of the Giants. This was the only duplicate. This is Orlando Cepeda. So it had Mays, McCovey, Cepeda, all that fun stuff, and a bunch of scrubs, but even came in the shipping envelope that that they were mailed in. But I sent those to my friend Tom out there in Oklahoma, Cooter, because he is a big Giants fan. So it was more appropriate to be in his collection than my collection. But I did end up with one of them. So that's a 1960 J Publishing. Another recent pickup here, 1971, I think, Milk Duds. That's Fergie Jenkins right there, Chicago, right? And that was from the basement find from Mike Moynihan. We were talking 71 Milk Duds. We were talking one day and going through some stuff that I wanted to buy from him. and I picked up this, and he regretted it from the moment he sold it to me, and he regretted it for the several weeks it took to get it to me at the Dallas Card Show. But I commend him for staying strong and holding up his end of the deal. So that's a pretty nice little card right there. Full milk duds, never been folded or whatever they say. So another recent pickup. Now this is a Schmitty and a Mattingly. I recently got that from one of my friends. I don't know where that came from. Truth be told, uh, it's a craft, right? These are craft cards, so nice little unlicensed product at overlapping points, the beginning of Mattingly's career and sort of the end of Michael Jack Schmidt's career. Nice little card there. What do we have here? This is that's Manny Trio. He's with the 1980 Burger King cards. Don't know what that's doing in there. What's up, Jetty? Okay. Box topper, Nolan Ryan of the 74 tops. This was on Heritage, obviously. I got this out of the box. Hey, what's up, Cooter? How are you, man? Yeah, man. I thought I saw you, and of course that had to go to you. That stuff. I'm glad you didn't have it. It's rare that friends like you and Mark Hoyle don't have stuff, so it's really a badge of honor being able to get something in your collection. I stopped buying. I pretty much stopped buying wax boxes because even though it's been told to many of us, it's cheaper just to get what you want, even if you're paying $3 or $4 a card, just to buy the cards you want. It makes sense. So I've learned my lesson. But this was from this year. I bought a Heritage box. Here's some nice little Willie Stargell puzzle piece. This is also from Heritage, another box topper. I'm not sure what year it is. I guess it's from this year, but yeah, I don't know. What do we have here? We have a couple Miguel Cabrera cards. I don't know why they're in here. I'm not a big Miguel Cabrera. And there's a Mattingly Stadium Club master photo. So I just have like random crap all over the place. Some of this stuff is modern. These are the Sportscasters cards, I believe. Boy, I want to say it's either you, Tom, or Mark sent these to me. But that's obviously Yaz. Triple Crown. This is a set of thousands, as most of us know. I mean, thousands and thousands of cards. When I was a kid, you could order these out of magazines and stuff and off the TV and stuff like that. So that's Yaz. Not quite sure who's sliding into first there. Hidden ball trick. So Yaz had all the tricks up his sleeve. Hidden ball and Triple Crown. Of course, Triple Crown would have been nice if they had the period uniform. Hey, Orlando, how are you, man? Would have been nice if they had represented Yaz in an actual Triple Crown uniform, but this is obviously from the mid to late 70s here. Sportscaster set. If you have a Sportscaster set, you're probably a pretty awesome collector. So on to the what I consider the fun stuff, and these were inserts. And I love this stuff, and I have the complete sets here. So this is I believe 67. So this is a 67 tops poster inserts, and we're going to go through these real quick because it's fun. So let me get them out of here. What do we say? Let's get them out of here. I compiled this set, not in real time because I would have been only a little fetus at that point, but I did put this set together one at a time instead of buying the whole dang thing. So let's look at that, shall we? So we have Boog, Pal number 1, Bert Campaneris. Look at that old A's uniform, and that's pretty much 1967. That's pretty much all the A's had to offer, and that was a Kansas City A's player, obviously. Last year there, I think. Brooksy, number 3, Tommy Agee, future hero of the Miracle Mets, but rocking the old Sox uniform there in Yankee Stadium. That guy there, who is the greatest baseball player that ever lived in my imagination, Carl Michael Yastrzemski, Mickey Mantle, Frank Howard recently passed. Frank was an absolute monster. I always remember Frank Howard as a first base coach for some reason. So, um, but beloved, I guess, by many. I mean, he was remembered. A lot of tributes to him on Twitter and stuff like that, which is great because he's not a Hall of Famer, but it's neat for a player like that to be recognized. Sudden Sam McDowell out there in the outfield. Um, Looks pretty coherent there, so probably he was going to tear it up later that night. Cepeda, I don't know what happened there, Cooter, but this guy should never have left the Giants. He got around, though, and won a World Series that year, I guess. There's Chico Cardenas. Bob Clemente. We all lament the fact that Topps insisted calling him Bob in the 1960s. Great guy, obviously, but even better, other than the 55 and 56 cards, never had a bad card other than his first two. There's Willie Mays, smiling Willie Mays. That's a great picture of Willie right there. Cleon Jones, the best the Mets had to offer that year, I suppose. Johnny Callison, he was a member of the 64 collapse in Philadelphia. Thank you, Gene Mauch. Henry Louis Aaron right there at the Shea Stadium. There's Don Drysdale, star of the Brady Bunch and pitcher for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Bobby Doop, Los Angeles Angels. Tony Oliva. Not quite sure what's going on with Tony's teeth there, but he's got a gapper. And there he is at Yankee Stadium. Frank Robinson, a little bit of a tear there, but I don't care. Denny McClain, he's a scoundrel. Not much nice to say about that guy, other than he was probably pretty good playing the organ. Al Kaline, one of Baltimore's best ever. Joe Pepitone passed away, I think, in 2023, right? Yankees player. Yankees were in some dark years right there. Thank you, Cooter. We'll see you, buddy. Hey, what's up? Gary, I got your package. I just got home from about a 10 or 12-day trip, so I will be sending you something, I promise. I'm trying to figure it all out right now. Just got my, like I said, just had a brutal run. So headed back out Sunday, but I'll try to get something out to you. There's the killer, Harmon Killebrew. Look at that patch on there. We love that patch on that sleeve. Leon Wagner, kind of wondering what he's doing with all the other people in this set. Joe Morgan, of course, with the Astros and Colt 45s previously. Ron Santo, he's a Hall of Famer and one of those rare birds that went from the north side of Chicago to the south side. Joe Torre, looking only as Joe Torre can look in that old Atlanta Braves uniform. Juan Marichal, of course. Matty Alou, Felipe Alou, and, of course, Ron Hunt Alou. And there is a stretch, Willie McCovey. So a lot of Giants in there, Marichal, Mays, McCovey, and all that fun stuff. So we're going to move on to our football players here, right? Same kind of thing. And this was a game. So these actually have backs to them. So let me look up. I'm going to bring something up here on my computer that you guys can't see because I'm going to cheat. Let's see here. So one of the fun things about this set is that this is a 71 set, is that there's two Gene Washingtons in here. So same thing, built this set from scratch. Again, it was a card game, and you can see on the back here, this was a marker, kind of useless. I guess I forget that we had such good imaginations when we were younger, and that we could just get a couple pieces of paper and play a game and all that stuff. But this was how you were supposed to move up and down the field, and the field is on the back there. There's instructions there. I'm not going to read them. You guys probably would be bored, but there's Gene Washington from the Niners, Andy Russell from the Steelers. I have like 5 of these, and several which are on eBay right now. Harold Jackson from the Eagles, Broadway Joe Namath, Fran Tarkenton. He got around. I believe he lost all 4 Super Bowls, or maybe I'm wrong. He definitely lost at least 3 of them, I believe. Dave Osborne is a running back with the Vikings. There's Bob Greasy looking nonplussed. Roman Gabriel, of course, from Gilligan's Island and the Los Angeles Rams. He was an ex-Eagle. Here's Jerry Levias from the Oilers. I wish the Houston Oilers were still around. I'm sure a lot of people do as well, except for those in Tennessee. But um, pretty much, I love the powder blue from the Oilers. Bart Starr from the Pack. Bullet Bob Hayes from the Clown Boys. There's Gale Sayers. If you're a Gale Sayers fan, which I don't know who would not be. Fun little card. This guy made headlines later on as a pitch person for Hertz. Sam Brunelli, of course, of the Denver Brunellis. Jim Nance, not that Jim Nance, but a New England Patriots Jim Nance. Bill Nelson. There's a Bill Nelson on Twitter that I think I follow. Sonny Jurgensen, he was a bit of a scoundrel, ex-Eagle as well. Not sure if he won a ring with the Eagles in '60, but came close, I guess. There's John Brody. John Brody, a lot of us remember as a commentator. And all that stuff, old Niner. Here's another clown boy, Lance Allworth, but we know him better as a San Diego Charger. He's put on a brave face, even though it says Cowboys. These are kind of cool, though. They're breaking the borders there with the headshots, and there's a little, football playing going on back there. You got the number down at the bottom there. And of course, the real TCG, Topps Chewing Gum, printed in the USA. No offense, Gary. Larry Wilson, he was a St. Louis Cardinal. Darryl LaMonica, of course, with the Raiders. He was the guy before Stabler. Danny Abramowitz, he was on every Saints card ever to a certain point. He was pretty much all the Saints had for years. Here's the other Gene Washington with the Vikings. Bobby Bell, Hall of Famer with the Chiefs. Merlin Olsen looks a lot like my father right there. Little House on the Prairie, and of course, part of that doomsday defense with the LA Rams. Charlie Sanders, Detroit Lions. It's become fashionable to become a Lions fan again or root for the Lions. Here's Virgil Carter. He is of the Cincinnati Bengals. The late, great Dick Butkus of the Bears. Johnny Yu from Z Colts. Tommy Nobis, he's another guy that pops up as kind of a face of the franchise, like Abramovich was with the Saints. Like a lot of the Falcons specialty cards featured Tommy Nobis, middle linebacker. Floyd Little. Sorry about that. He's from Denver way, and he's a Bronco. And, of course, Larry Brown from the Washington Redskins. This thing's a little boogered up. Maybe I can do better with that. So going to go to the chat because it'd be rude of me not to go to the chat. So let me see if I can back on up here. Said hi to everybody. Let's see here. Hey, Scott. How are you, Stuke? Yeah, those posters are great. I was thinking of you, Scott. My LCS has some exhibit cards, but I'm a little paranoid because of I can't tell the difference between the fakes or the reprints and the real deal. So I'm kind of staying away from that for now, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens there. Let's see what else we got here. I've been away from my cards for a while, for about almost 2 weeks. So it's just good to, I guess since my last stream, which was whenever that was, Friday or Saturday or even whatever. I'm just happy to be back with my cards and looking at some of the things here. So, yeah. These posters, the good thing about these posters, I sell them on eBay as well, my extras, and they just fold up into penny sleeves because they came in packs. So they're easy to ship. I like to keep them in the top loaders because I like to see them, obviously, and I feel like they're better off just stretched out and in the top loaders, truth be told. Yes, Gary Oliva looks like a hockey player for sure. And yeah, I don't know what happened with this. I don't know whether that's normal for Tony Oliva to have that big black gap in his, I guess that's almost a canine tooth back there. Daddy Wags, John Brody. Yep, John Brody was in there. Bart Starr, all that fun stuff. Those old football players are great, right? I mean, these guys, a lot of these guys were around in the 50s and then, of course, the 60s and then the early 70s. So it's fun to see that stuff. Billy White Shoes Johnson, Philly Joe. You're absolutely right, man. I think people of a certain generation my generation, I guess, and grew up in the 70s. Billy White Shoes Johnson was one unlike anybody they had ever seen before as far as that end zone celebration. I was a bit of a Steelers fan maybe back in the 70s because they were winning, and the Steelers Oilers were absolutely amazing to watch. Of course, Earl Campbell, Pastorini, Billy White Shoes Johnson, and whatever else Pittsburgh had to offer. Gary, those were the 71 Tops posters, and these next ones are. I don't have the whole set, so these next ones are the 68 Tops posters. And these were inserts. These came in the packs of cards. Uh, Here we go. I'll read the 68 description. 68 Tops football poster set contains 16 NFL and AFL players on paper stock. The cards, parentheses, posters measure approximately 5 inches by 7 inches. Folded twice for insertion into the first series wax packs are numbered in the obverse at the lower left-hand corner. The backs of these posters are blank, fold marks are normal, and do not detract from the poster's condition. These posters are the same style as the 67 Tops baseball. So we saw the 67 Tops baseball earlier. Here's a couple of 68s here in a second. Card Cutter, how are you, sir? You're trying to get the posters signed, huh? Man, I wonder how that would be, like with the ink on these things, whether they would bleed or whether they would take a Sharpie or not. Yep, Floyd Little, local Denver hero. He was, I guess, I grew up with Randy Gradishire. He was the big linebacker in Denver when I was growing up, and they were whatever Super Bowl they lost to the Cowboys, Craig Morton and all those guys. I remember Randy Gradishire. Merlin has the highest AV of any RAM. What is AV? Boy, why do I not know AV? I think of audio visual because that's what I do for a living. You're right. But you know what? People would get bummed out, Orlando, if the posters had folds in them and all that stuff. People are just jerks that way. But these are the 68s. Again, these are like the 67 baseball posters. There's Johnny U. He's a Yinzer. He's from the Pittsburgh area. That's typical Johnny U, right? Flat top, big shoulder pads, classic Colts uniform. I can't believe I only have 4 of these. Leroy Kelly with the Browns. It's a nice uniform there. There's another Bob Hayes. This thing's looking a little janky. And here's Fran Tarkenton. I know Fran Tarkenton spent some time going between the Giants and the Vikings. So here he is in a Vikings uniform, obviously listed as a Giants player. And I just remember Fran Tarkenton with the bangs. I don't remember him with his hair curled back like that. So that's pretty wild there. Let's see here. Mike Petty, how are you? Tops should have a white shoe insert and auto scribble. Panini would have a fake shoe insert. Be neat to see that, man. Like, think about a time when nobody wore white shoes, right? So that's your nickname, Billy White Shoes Johnson, because nobody else was wearing white shoes. So what a time to be alive, as they say. You know what I should have done? I should have had my glasses with me, but I didn't bring my glasses with me. So I'm gonna have to fake some of this stuff. Next up, we have a Reggie Jackson insert. I don't know where I got this from. Truthfully, this is probably a box topper that I bought from maybe Mike O or something like that. But it's obviously his rookie card, a little oversized. I love Reggie Jackson, Cheltenham's finest, of course. Here's another Reggie Jackson box topper. Love those old A's uniforms. Of course, Yankee Stadium, barely photo bombing the picture there. Young Reggie, pretty impressive specimen back then. So that's that. Here's an Aaron Judge box topper. I don't know much about this cat here. It's a postcard. So anyway, it's in the box for some reason. This is an old John Kruk Dominators. Man, I don't know where I get some of this stuff from. Maybe it's from friends sending it to me or buying collections. But John Kruk, he still announces for the Phillies. Here is a Al Kaline box topper. Obviously, this is from the Heritage set from a few years back. So Al Kaline, like the old guys. I like the dead guys, obviously, so I kind of hold on to that. Some of that stuff I could sell, like the Eric Dickerson, or I'm sorry, like the Aaron Judge, but why bother? I'm a collector, right? So anyway, hold on to that. Next up, we have 87 Wheaties mini poster of Eric Dickerson. Eric Dickerson could run the ball. Of course, he went to Southern Methodist University, broke the all-time record that OJ had. Says it right there. He teamed with Patriot running back Craig James in college to form the SMU famed Pony Express backfield. Set an NFL record for rushing yards in a playoff game versus the Clown Boys in 1986, 248 yards, single season record of yards rushed in a single season. A single season, that way too much, and he's been named to Pro Bowl 3 times in his 4-year career. Of course, the record's been broken. I think Jamal Lewis may have broken it once, or Terrell Davis or somebody. Sorry, Rob Weber, if I don't know that, but he is no longer the holder of the record. Got some more sportscasters here. That's the Bull, Greg Lazinski. Again, most likely sent to me from some friends of mine. I have a hard time. I should start writing this stuff down, but there's a nice little write-up of Bull on the diamond. Sportscasters, that'd be a heck of a journey trying to collect that set. Mike Schmidt, 4 home runs in a game. Just says 4 home runs in a game. Doesn't say anything about Schmidt on the front. And probably doesn't say anything about him on the back. There is a little shout out for Ed Delahanty in 1896, belting 4 home runs in a game. Obviously, they were probably most likely all inside of Porkers. Let's see here. Pastorini could throw a country mile. Pastorini was the prototypical Texas cowboy, man. Like if you went to Gillies back in the late 70s, I'm sure Dan Pastorini had a table right up close to the Mechanical Bull. He was that kind of Texas legend back then, for sure. You sent off the Andy Russell and Fran Tarkenton. Now I heard from a little bird that Andy's not doing so well, so hopefully he's able to sign that for you. Yeah, I have a friend out there in Pittsburgh who knows Andy Russell, and hopefully he's okay enough to sign that. So, and I hope you're able to get that done. Approximate value. I don't have any values, Gary. There's no values here. Crew cut. If you look at his 73 San Diego Chargers, or 72, 73, he does not have that. I know. I noticed the same thing. He does not have that on the 73 San Diego Chargers card. He does not have his crew cut. The 69 Reggie Jackson, I've got a poor man's version of that. If I were ever to grade it, it'd probably be a 2 or a 3 or something like that. So, yeah, the goggles were pretty cool. There was another guy, Chuck Muncie, I think, who played for the Chargers back in the 70s. That's the first time I really saw the goggles. Chuck Muncie would also play for the Saints, I think, later on, but he was the first goggle guy I saw. Tony, what's up from South Philly? How are you, man? Good to see you. Good to hear you. And I have not read Dan Pastorini's book. I should probably go do that. Let's look at Topps 1983, Topps Chewing Gum, 17 batting leaders. These are the baseball foldouts. Again, I don't know where I got this from, but Dane Orge. Hard to believe Dane Orge is considered a batting leader, but he was. His brother, Garth Orge, also played Major League Baseball. Some of these guys were in the Phillies system, I think, at one point. There's Keith Hernandez as a Cardinal. Beg McBride. Breaks my heart to see Beg McBride in a Indians uniform. Of course, he started with the San Luis Cardinals and won a ring with the Phillies, but I loved me some Beg McBride. This guy has a lot of children out of wedlock. Freddie Lynn, look at Freddie Lynn with his porn stash going there. Loving the California lifestyle. Of course, he's from California. There's Ken Griffey the Elder as a Yankee. There's Pete Guerrero. He would play for, who did he start with? Pedro Guerrero. Somebody, he got traded out of the system, and I think he made his debut when he was 43 years old with the Dodgers. But obviously had a strong career, maybe Rookie of the Year one year. 79 or 80. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Al Oliver belongs in the Hall of Fame. And there's James Edward Rice right there. I'm getting texts from my son. Apparently, he's taking a test. Uh, Cecil Cooper. Cecil Cooper could just flat out hit. He shares a rookie card with Carlton Fisk, of course. Uh, Man, the Sox were silly to trade him, but they done did. Dave Parker, another guy, belongs in the Hall of Fame. Pete Rose, rocking the Phillies. Pete Rose was the first guy I ever knew that had this introduced us to Mizuno, and we saw Mizuno everywhere in the early '80s. It seems. There's Willie Wilson. He could steal a base or two. He could play some center field as well. Lonnie Smith, of course, skates. He won a ring with the Phillies. There's the Mad Dog, Bill Madlock with the Pittsburgh Pirates, still holding on to those multi combo uniforms. And George Brett looks like he's checking his back flap to see if his derriere is inflamed. And here is Rod Carew. Of course, Rod Carew. No doubt about him being a great hitter. These are from 1983. Nice little time capsule of that era, the early 80s. And I'll fold those back up, put them over there. Drake's big hitters have ourselves. Keith Hernandez now is obviously a Mets player, and Mark McGwire is a Oakland A player. This is from 88, I think, maybe 1988. Uncut. Think of all the glory that was held within this box. Ring dings, devil dogs, all sorts of fun stuff. Yankee doodles, Sunny doodles, all sorts of doodling going on. Here is a large Nolan Ryan baseball talk card from the late 80s or early 90s. You could put that on your record player, and he would probably talk to you and sing to you, perhaps, maybe Happy Trails or some other fun song. Here's another Nolan Ryan card, seventh no-hitter. This is a Brodeur card. Brodeur, I think it's Martin Brodeur. So this is a Fugazi card. It hurls his seventh no-hitter. You can see the Kodak watermark on the back. Here is probably another fake Nolan Ryan card depicting him in Rangers and Angels glory, no-hitters, legends, 1991 artwork by Michael J. Taylor. I have a lot of Nolan Ryan stuff. Here's an 86 Donruss. I'm not a Nolan Ryan collector, but he's probably the player I have the most cards of because I bought a massive Nolan Ryan collection back in the day, and the day meaning a couple of years ago, and I have probably 900 different Nolan Ryan cards. So here's a nice 1985 big ass card. Nolan with the Astros. And of course, we have all these great Topps supers from various years. Yaz in 1980, and forgive me if I get these years wrong. Here's a Nolan Ryan, 1980. Here's some 84s. So that's John Denny. He won a Cy Young Award in 1983. Mike Schmidt, he won some MVPs back in the day. Steve Carlton, he won some Cy Youngs back in the day. This guy never won a Cy Young. Nolan Ryan. So some of those big boys there. And these are the 81 posters. So this is Bob Boone. Boone, he could play some catcher. Larry Boa, he could play some shortstop. Steve Carlton in the batting helmet. He was from Mars. He could hit too, believe it or not, folks. I know it's hard to believe, but he could hit the baseball. Gary Lee Maddox, my mom's favorite player, Vietnam veteran, hero to all. Here's Arnold McBride, Bake McBride, as I've known him through my youth. So I think I might have all the Phillies here. Here's the Tugger, Frank McGraw, famous for being the father-in-law of Faith Hill. There's another Pete Rose. Pete Rose looked like he was always on the take, ready to get in trouble. Dick Ruthven bounced between the Phillies and the A's, and apparently this card bounced. The Braves, and apparently this card bounced up and down 95 a few times. Got everything in it: paper loss, scratches. Mike Schmidt with his Hollywood headshot right there. That looks like Candlestick Park in the background, if you ask me. This is Del Unser, who was a wonderful pinch hitter for the Phillies back in the day. And if you look at his hat, it's a little off kilter there. So these guys used to put their hats in their back pockets, and look what happens. Back to 1980, Tom Seaver, terrific Tom, of course. This is Greg Nettles with the Yankmans, and another nice little card there. And apparently I have more Schmitties, and I have more Peter Edward Rose. This is from 1980 again. George Foster, he of the black bat. Uh-oh, I'm losing it, folks. Everything's going to rot here. First guy I ever saw with a black bat. Maybe others had him, but Pete Rose, George Foster hit 52 home runs in the 70s in a year, which is pretty impressive. Reggie Jackson, love him. We know him. Best player of the 70s. And my friend Cooter again sent me this M&M's set from the 1980s, complete M&M set, which has all sorts of fun stuff in it. There's Schmitty. Tony Pena, he was a bad example for most of us kids because he would sit his rear end on the dirt when he played catch. There's a Clemens. There's a couple. One guy belongs in the Hall of Fame on this card. One guy doesn't. I'll let you guys decide. Dale Murphy, Canseco, Mattingly, Carter, Brett Ripken, Puckett, Carter again, Witt, Mike Scott. Mike Scott could pitch. Steve Garvey, he could, his sperm could swim. Fernando Valenzuela, of course, huge impact on baseball in the early 80s. Steve Sachs and Nolan Ryan and Tony Gwynn. Look at a young Tony Gwynn there. And Ozzie Smith, of course. Fun little cards there. And then the last thing in this box is some sort of Cal Ripken commemorative set from when he went to 21-31. This is from Upper Deck, 2007 commemorative set. So there's a whole bunch of gold cards in there. I don't know. I don't want to dig them out too much, but there's Eddie Murray as well. Young Cal up top. Young Cal on the left, 1981, all sorts of fun stuff. So 21-31, that's Cal from the evening. This is obviously from the evening as well. And fun little set there. That came in a collection that I purchased. Hey, Mark Hoyle, how are you, man? Good to see you. 78-88, St. Louis Cardinals. TJ, he came from somewhere. Somebody traded Pedro Guerrero to the Giants or to the Dodgers. So we need to figure out who that is. Hey, Gary, how are you? Yes, I have a ton of minor league cards. Most of them from the 80s and 90s, but I have a ton of them. Is it CMC? There's the CMC and there's the pro cards. I have a ton of those. So, yeah, in fact, I have so many of them. I don't want to make you think I have like thousands and thousands, but I have so many of them that they have their own mega monster box now because I took them out of all the other stuff. So I do have a minor league box back there. In fact, I just put I think it was Edgar Martinez CMC card on eBay for sure. There you go. The Indians traded him. I wonder who they traded him for to the Dodgers. So for Bruce Ellingson, of course. Why would you not trade him for Bruce Ellingson? I'm going to do one more little run here, and you guys and gals may have seen this before, but I'm going to do one more little run of stuff here because my wife is coming downstairs and wondering what I'm doing, talking to myself. So check this out. These are the 1970 Topps posters inserts. And your dad fact of this set will be brought to you by Mark Hoyle later on here. But these are big. These are monsters. These fold. Here's an example of what a normal card, half of a card would look like versus these. So Joe Horlin with the White Sox, of course. Phil Niekro with the Braves. Boy, that's a big card, huh? And again, Topps Chewing Gum has the poster number on the bottom. I have the entire set. This is another set that I put together painstakingly. Willie Davis, not even the best Davis of the 60s on the Dodgers, but Willie Davis of the Dodgers. Lou Brock. Look at that. Lou Brock doing what Lou Brock does. San Luis. Ron Santo playing another day game probably there at Wrigley. Ken Harrelson, I believe that's the Hawk. It says it right there on the back of his uniform. Cleveland Indians, Red Sox, or Boston legend for sure, I guess. Let's see here. There's Stretch, Willie McCovey. They say Willie McCovey was probably one of the most feared hitters in the 60s. I can imagine pitching in the 60s with Banks and Mays and McCovey and Aaron and all that stuff. It's crazy. Rick Wise, he hit some home runs and pitched a no-hitter. That's from the Phillies. Andy Messersmith, the first free agent. There you go, along with Pat McNally, but I think Pat McNally was retired by that point. Ron Fairley, nice first baseman for Les Expos. Johnny Lee Bench, I believe it's his birthday or was his birthday recently, but look at that little catch he's doing back there. So a nice little young Johnny Bench, a couple of years into the league there. Frank Robinson, probably the most feared hitter in the American League during a certain stretch in the 60s after he got traded. Yeah, it was another guy that was in the National League, huh? And he gets traded to the American League. So good stuff, man. Tommy Agee in his properly attired Mets uniform, although I'm not sure what's going on there. That looks like some other kind of uniform, judging by the helmet. Roy White won a couple rings, long-time Yankee. I don't know if Roy White played with anybody but the Yankees, but he was there for a while. The good times and, of course, the lean years as well. Guy spanned Mantle, and then he finished up with Reggie. Larry Durker, he could pitch, and he's a great. I guess it was a great Astros announcer. I think they tried to have him as manager once or twice, but great pitcher in the 70s. Rod Carew, of course, as a twin. Of course, he's playing second base right there. And boy, why did they ever get rid of those uniforms and those hats? Great classic uniforms. Now, this is the one. Dad Fact brought to you by Mark Hoyle, Don Mincher. He had to tell me that that's Carl Yastrzemski over there. So 1970, of course, Seattle Pilots. And I believe by this point they were the Milwaukee Brewers. Yaz, never a Pilot or a Brewer. Ollie Brown, downtown Ollie Brown. In the 70s, he played for the Phillies. And this was the second year of the Padres. Padres came into existence in 69. Ed Kirkpatrick, second year of the Royals. So these guys really didn't have any stud players at that point, but Ed Kirkpatrick could dance, as you can see there, cha-cha or the lambada. He was doing one of those. Reggie Smith, I think it makes Mark Hoyle wince every time I see Reggie Smith in a Boston uniform, but Reggie could play. He could hit. One of my favorite players of the 70s right there. Here's Bob Clemente of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Classic vest there for the Pirates. The previously mentioned Frank Howard in the classic red Washington Senators getup. This is number 22 out of 24, they tell me. Here's Campy again. This time he's an Oakland A's player, and this is number 23. And, of course, Denny McClain. I want to say that this was the last one I got in this series right here. Denny McClain with the Tigers. Last 30-game winner perhaps ever. Mark Hoyle got me this. Sports Illustrated All-Pro posters. 150 cents each, and look at this Chrysler Cordoba on the back. I think may have had Corinthian leather, but Mark Hoyle with the poster there. You see Yaz there, Bob Gibson, Tom Seaver, and I want to say that that's Mays, right? So here's something fun too. I grew up the town next to Norristown, PA, right there, which is where Tommy Lasorda's from, by the way, Norristown, PA. Here is an uncut sheet of 79 Tops, Paul Mascow, Eddie Murray, Bert Campaneris, the Bump Wills, Eric Hard, and Don Kirkwood, a real tried and true Blue Jay player there. Here's some pictures I'm not allowed to show you because a friend of mine gave them to me, and they're not real. Here's some posters. 1968, San Diego and Philadelphia. Look at that. Elvin Hayes. How cool is that? That's just some crazy in-game photography right there. 68 Tops posters. I don't have the whole set. Here's Leroy Ellis from Portland. Fun stuff there. Keep in mind that these courts back then were meant to be played under ambient light, not television lighting. So getting photos is difficult. As you could tell, you can't see anybody in the background. And here's Len Chappell from the Clevelanders. And yeah, some fun stuff there. Nothing on the back. So that's it. That's a lot of oversized stuff. Maybe we get to other stuff later on and somewhere down the road. So yeah, that's it. And thanks, guys, gals, children of all ages for stopping in. Let me see if I can get back to the chat here. You guys have been active. You all know each other. And again, Mark Hoyle made an appearance. Thank you, Mark. Hope you're feeling better. The Hawk, of course, did he ever play for the Red Sox, or was he just an announcer? I'm not sure. Posters are massive. The top loaders themselves are like $4 each, so it's tough to collect that stuff. Possible Dreamer Reggie, Uncut 79. I think that's Uncut 79, Orlando. And that's it. You had a Chrysler Cordova. That's awesome. Cordova, did that have the Corinthian leather? And you're telling me Hawk was an Impossible Dreamer as well? Mr. Hoyle? Is that your claim? You're telling me, Mark, that Ken Harrelson played on the pennant-winning 67 Red Sox. I did not know that. Well, that's it. Again, got to go walk the dog. Got to go feed the wife and all that stuff. So thanks, guys. I'll talk to you later. I'll try to do more and more of these things because there's a lot of just stuff laying around in shoeboxes back there that doesn't get looked at a lot. So we can all discover it or rediscover it together. Be fun to look through stuff. So thanks so much. Take care. If I don't talk to Yins, then we'll see you on down the road. Later, Gators. Bye.